Welcome to a special edition of the Assist Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Zach Schwartz. Today we're doing a very different type of thing. It is an emergency podcast for emergency news, and we were granted that yesterday with breaking news that Sony and Marvel are disagreeing over terms on Spider-Man, and so joining me today is the only person that could talk about it with me, Thorin. I messed up your name, of course. I'm so shocked. Thorin Bartlebaugh. Thorin, we are very upset.
We are very upset. This is a sad day. Potentially very sad.
It doesn't look good either. That's the thing. Nothing's official yet, but it doesn't look good.
No, it does not. Looks like so, you go ahead.
I was going to say, would you like to share the details of what is happening?
So reportedly, deals have fallen out amongst peers in the entertainment industry, and Sony would like to withdraw Spider-Man from the MCU due to a deal not being reached between them and Disney. And I'd like to say Sony can just,
kiss your ass.
I won't say it. I'll keep it PG.
So kiss your ass. That's the PG version.
Yeah, that's the mostly PG version.
So based on what I read, because they've had this agreement, right, for the past couple of years, where I think Marvel, I wonder what the level of involvement is, though. Is Marvel making the movies, or is Sony making it, and then Marvel's, overseeing it, yes, that works? I never got that.
I think, from what I know, that's what it is, and that's why the movies have actually been good.
So, Marvel, I read, was getting 5% of the box office, which is, still significant for a $1 billion movie, which Spider-Man 2 was.
Right.
Or Far From Home, whatever. But still, I think they wanted it to be 50-50, is what I've read. And Sony was like, no.
Yes, because Sony, like always, is pretty greedy with their practices.
But granted, going from 5 to 50 is a bold move. That's a bold Marvel move. That's like a heat check moment for Marvel, where they're like, actually, we're not going to buy the character. We're just going to take half your money.
Yeah, they probably can make that eventually, but going from 5 to 50 is a huge, huge step. That was I can understand why Sony was like, hell no, but at the same time, how could you? This is the best iteration of Spider-Man.
It is.
This is everyone's favorite, actor behind it.
Yes.
Everyone has loved these movies. They performed record-breaking levels with Spider-Man movies, and Sony's like, you know what? No. They can't. It's not right.
I feel like Sony still would do the Tom Holland stuff, but they just want to have it on their own. Which is bold for them, because we know that even though the original Spider-Man with too old for Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, went well, despite that, the Andrew Garfield 2 movies did not. And of course, the funny thing about that is the second Amazing Spider-Man is just a setup for a third, and it just never happened, which is great.
Right.
So I guess maybe they're just like, hey, we actually found this, and, Marvel wants too much for it. And I think the other thing is that I never saw Venom. Did you see Venom?
I did not.
So Katie saw Venom, and she said, did you like it, Katie?
I liked it.
Yeah, she's nodding yes. So I think part of it is that they also want to do, they've been working on this, Spider-Man verse without Spider-Man. So, I think they want to put Venom with Spider-Man, which honestly is intriguing. But also, can't we just have, a reference to Thanos in there, too? So that way it's in Marvel. You know what I mean? It's it just... And also the other thing is that they kicked ass with Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse. So that's probably the other thing, too, is they're actually doing well with movies now, which Sony, for a while, wasn't. So...
yes.
Maybe, best case, is this turns into the Fantastic Four, where Tom Holland's still young... Or they replace Tom Holland, right? And then in 8 years after they fail twice, they can sell it to Marvel, and then we can reinstall Tom Holland as a grizzled veteran. What about that?
But you would think, I doubt it, because even after they had to, if they had a series and a reboot that sucked, and they still didn't sell them off,
Right. Yeah, that's the problem, right?
Plus, Spider-Man is, I know he's my favorite, but he's also, like, the public's favorite superhero because he's so relatable and, like, just a great character. So Sony would literally never give that up.
Yeah,
no matter what.
The thing with the whole Avengers and Marvel thing was that they turned like B-list heroes in the comics to like A-plus superstars, and Spider-Man's always been like Spider-Man's on the level of Superman and Batman. Like he's always been famous. That's a good point too.
Exactly.
So I mean, and in terms of the MCU, this is a tough break because as Spider-Man: Far From Home, I mean, we're far enough out that we can talk about it. Shows they set everything up. Phase 3 ended with Spider-Man Far From Home. They set it all up for Spider-Man to be Tony Stark's successor. That's like the whole movie, basically, is him trying to get control of that and, you know, fight off a former Stark employee that Mysterio ends up being. So it's like the whole thing revolves around him being the next guy. And
exactly.
Yeah. And now it's like, well, okay, so we're going to have to... I just saw this. You know how they're doing the do what if thing?
Yeah.
They should do what if Peter Parker stayed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, do you also think, I don't know if it's even possible, but like, could they do where they, since we can talk about Far From Home, correct?
Yeah, we're good.
So, since the ending of the movie involves, you know, Peter's identity being leaked to everyone, they could... worst case scenario where Spider-Man is truly removed, they could make him go into hiding and just take up another, I don't know, title.
Miles Morales,
true.
I don't know. Sony probably has him though too. So it's like, actually, let's work out a deal for Miles Morales now. No, I think, and the other thing I've also heard is that they've had 3 and 4 planned. I think we knew that. At some point, like it's not obviously a release date yet because it's not in Phase 4, but I'm not sure. It's unclear to me whether the 3rd and 4th movies are a part of the original deal, and they couldn't get the deal for the 5th movie, or if this deal affects the 3rd and 4th movie. I can't figure that out because if the 3rd and 4th movie are in, you know, the universe still, I mean, I'll be sad obviously, but at least they have time to properly develop the story because obviously they were working on something with the new director. So, but if it's just like cut off now, that's tough. That's really hard.
Yeah, I want to say that at least from the thing that I saw, it just said after not being able to reach a deal, the director said they're not directing any more movies. Okay. So I don't know if that means any more after the next 2 because. I don't know, since it's not official, all the details are still not kind of there.
Right, yeah, so, I mean, like I said, it's not even official yet, but, I mean, obviously all these things get reported before they're official, so we're still trying to figure it out. That's why this is an emergency.
Yeah. I really just cannot believe that Disney would let that happen. Like, I feel like they eventually will have to just take the lower cut or negotiate a better price. I can't see Disney bargaining like that over the hero that they've been waiting to get for, you know, over a decade, you know, like.
Yeah, and they finally got it, you know, and obviously when Spider-Man came in Civil War, you know, when that I think it might have been the second trailer when it dropped, and he had this line that he says in the movie and said they put in the trailer. It's like, hey, everyone's like, holy shit, this is, they pulled it off. And, I mean, now Civil War's 2016, so 3 years later. I agree with you, especially, I understand Marvel and Disney want more money. Disney, I think we can say, is never going to be not profitable. I feel like Bob Iger sitting there knows that, and maybe this is a leak to get the outrage over Sony. I mean, that could be the other thing. This could be a great business tactic. I mean, who leaked it? If it's a Disney side, then Sony sees the outrage and all of a sudden bargaining shifts, perhaps. I mean, that could be another thing. But I don't know, because Sony always seems to have a bigger, you know, self-image of themselves than, you know, the people like. So.
Yeah, that's very true. I don't know what their thought process behind it is, and it sucks because I'm not surprised with it coming from Disney if they're trying to just outrage tactics and stuff, because Disney is just, the monopoly that they are, trying to get every penny from everything, even though they don't need any more. But it's very interesting.
Well, yeah, let's recap here. Disney owns all of their original princess stuff too, so all that, and Pixar, right? Disney owns ABC. ABC owns ESPN. Disney owns Marvel, including their comics and everything. Disney owns Hulu now. Disney owns Fox. And with the Fox comes X-Men and the Fantastic Four. Are you really going to tell me that Disney is going to argue? I mean, granted, 5% versus 50% is the difference between 500 million and what's 5% of a billion? 5 million? So, granted, a significant amount of money. But Disney.
Don't forget Disney also owns Lucasfilm.
That's right. So Star Wars. Yeah, good point. So, and Disney just purchased Fox for $70 billion. So I'm just trying to make sure we understand the point of, even though it's 500 million, they purchased something for $70 billion, which is 140 times that. So I feel like it's hard to me, unless Sony just really doesn't want to do anything, and the real reason is they just want to have them for themselves, and they won't negotiate any price, for that. It's hard for me to believe that Disney will just let them go, like you said. That's a good point.
And even if Sony want, I can't believe that they would even try to make that decision. Like, oh, we want him for ourselves, after he's done amazingly with Disney. Like, everyone's wanted this, and I know, me personally, I would never go see another Spider-Man film if it was just purely Sony again.
Yeah, it'd be hard for me.
I'm not. I like this Spider-Man, and I won't see it just out of spite of Sony, because I just don't like Sony.
I've been waiting for this.
The millionth reason why.
It took you 13 minutes. Go ahead. You've had grievances against Sony for a long time. I am now giving you the monologue to go ahead.
Oh, most of my grievances are just because we can't play Xbox and PlayStation together. So it's just made me mad. That's why I hate Sony. And now they do this.
It's been for a while.
That's kind of it.
I mean, it's very frustrating, actually, because you say, and I think you're right, that Microsoft, who owns Xbox, Sony owns PlayStation for people, or owns PS4, whatever, makes the PS4 for people that don't know. So Microsoft wants to do open gameplay, and obviously, like a lot of things on the internet. And in fact, I believe Xbox and Nintendo, right? They do it for Fortnite with the Switch. Is that correct?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, I know they do Fortnite, and I know for sure they also do like Minecraft as well.
So it's out there.
And I'm pretty sure a few others.
And Sony's like, no. Because really,
exactly.
The difference between an Xbox One and a PS4 are they're non-existent. They're around the same price. The games are the same price. The controllers are slightly different, but it's not like when I go over to Michael's house to play FIFA. I'm getting my ass kicked just because of the controller. So
it's the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So I mean, because
just different model.
Max and I will play Grand Theft Auto. It's just the two of us, and we're like, who else wants to play? And we're like, oh, well, we don't. I'm like, well, Thorin has an Xbox, Michael has an Xbox. I don't really. I'm out. So I'm out of things like that. So yeah, it just seems like whatever reason, Sony's just a weird company. I don't even know how to describe it.
To be fair, I think they are opening up a couple games. I don't know exactly for sure because I don't really keep up with it that much. But I think they're opening up possibly Fortnite to crossplay. I'd have to look it up more. But there was one other that I forgot. So, to be fair, they kind of open it up for a couple games, but at the same time, they're so reluctant and refusing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy a PS4. And I know that's what they think people are going to do if they can't crossplay. I'm not going to buy a PS4.
Right.
So, make something that makes everyone happy. Yeah. Not everyone's going to get a PS4. Just make crossplay a thing, dude.
Do you think with the PS5 they'll actually open it up or no?
I have no idea. That is an excellent question.
Neither do I.
But I just don't like Sony, so I don't think so.
So.
Plus, Sony made the Emoji Movie. But they also made Into the Spider-Verse, so I'm conflicted.
You're still mad at me for that. I haven't seen that.
I am still mad at you about that.
It's been a long time, and I still haven't seen it. So, overall,
highly recommend.
Overall, very bad thing. We're very sad.
We are very sad.
We'll be scouring the news. Tom Holland, you did so much more in the same amount of work as Andrew Garfield. I almost said Anthony.
Anthony Garfield.
I mean, it might as well after his performance.
Hey, I didn't mind his movies too much, although it's been years since I've seen them.
Yeah, you need to rewatch it so you can get mad at all the things you got mad at like 6 years ago. Speaking of Anthony's, Katie met Anthony Russo.
I saw that on Instagram. How did you manage that?
She was at the Best Buy, right? Yeah, he was at the Cleveland Best Buy. And, Katie waited for like 4 or 5 hours. And with her dad and her younger brother, and they were the last people allowed in. They shut down afterwards.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so Katie has some signed things now from Anthony Russo.
That is incredible. I am very jealous now.
So, I also read an ESPN article for fantasy football that the main fantasy football guy for ESPN, Matthew Berry, he is friends with Joe Russo, and they're like, hey, you want to be in Avengers Endgame? And I rewatched the clip on YouTube, and I didn't even realize he's like he's a SHIELD agent. He's like the Pierce's right-hand man in the scene where they're back in, where Tony gives himself a heart attack or whatever. That scene. Yeah, he's in there. And I didn't notice him in the actual movie, but twice. We saw it twice. I mean, I follow fantasy football, so I'm pretty big into this. And I didn't notice, and I went back and watched him. He actually has lines and everything, and I'm like, that's crazy. And he went through the whole opening of... He always starts his articles with non-football things, and he goes through, he's like, Robert Downey Jr. had lunch with him. Such a great guy. And I guess he looked at the producers, and he pointed to Robert Downey Jr. that he's like, we should give him more stuff. He's pretty good. And then he just walks out. It's like, okay. No, that's crazy.
We'll have to do that for each other when we get big and famous.
I know. Katie will be like, hey, you guys want to be in this movie that I'm working on?
Not if you insist.
We'll be like, yeah, I guess we could do that. I guess we could make a cameo appearance. So
you should have given her your Infinity Gauntlet to get signed.
I shipped it down here, though. That was the problem. So she might have taken my Iron Man helmet, but you were only allowed one thing, right? And your dad brought something? Yeah, she's nodding yes. So I was not going to take that away from her dad, because her dad has all of the things. He has both of Thor's hammers, the Thanos Gauntlet, and the Iron Man Gauntlet. Now, Cap shield, the Iron Man helmet. Yeah, he has everything, and I only have 2. So that gauntlet's incredible. Fun, though. It is so fun. It's so unnecessarily big. But
that's weird that they made it like the Hulk one, or is that the one for Thanos? Which hand does it go on?
It goes on the right. Yeah, it goes on the right hand.
So I'm pretty sure that's Hulk's, right? Because Thanos had his on the left.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know, because I don't really know. I think it's just they wanted to make it so you can have it be life size for anybody, because when you put your hand in it, they have like the little holes that you move the fingers with. You're not actually moving your fingers in it. Does that make sense?
Right.
So yeah, it's and it lights up and everything. It takes 3 AA batteries. It's
3?
Yes. It makes these obnoxious.
How long does it last?
I don't know. I haven't had to replace it yet, so it's shut. There's no on-off button too either. You just start moving your hand and it starts making noise, and then it shuts down after a while. It's on display now on my bookshelf in my house.
That's like a symbol of power to anyone that comes and visits you.
Oh, it'll be like a random Wednesday, and someone's gonna be making breakfast in the house. I'm just gonna walk up with it and just start trying to like pour myself coffee with it on. I tried picking up a cup, but it didn't work. You can't pick up cups with it. I'll try other things.
Can't snap with it?
No, that's the other thing. It's not in the proper position. I'm sure they would have had to do so much more engineering to get that done. But
yeah, I would assume the snap is it's a very complex movement for a piece of plastic.
I've had like physiological experts on it trying to figure it out. You just see a room of people just all snapping. They're like, so this finger starts here. We have to. Oh well. So all right. Well, we're very sad. Hopefully, it gets better.
Hopefully.
I don't think I've said the F word on here for a while, but Sony can fuck off. And
wow, how are you? I'm so glad that you were so brave right there.
So that's the end of that. Very sad. Tom Holland, we love you. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I can only imagine how it's affecting him right now.
I know, he's like, wait, I'm getting moved out of what? It's like,
it's because he kissed Zendaya. He was cursed.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they were like, I just got dated in real life now.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
All right.
Hopefully he doesn't have to watch, Uncle Ben die for the 17th time.
Yeah, really. Because that's how they'll start it, right? They'll go back. They'll make it a prequel.
Jesus Christ.
All right, Thorin.
You know what? I wouldn't be mad about that. But, all right.
Yes, we would be mad about that. Stop it. We've seen it enough.
Yeah.
Spider-Man. It's the same thing. Spider-Man and Batman. We get it. We understand.
We get it.
We don't need it again. Oh, man. Same thing with Superman. Superman's getting to that level, too. It's like, we get it. He fell from Earth. Or fell onto Earth.
Yeah, how many different reboots has Superman had?
Oh, I don't know. So many.
There's been a lot.
TV show, too, which, it's fine. So that's different, though, because I went, behind him as Superman. So, oh, well. Okay, well, before we keep going on and on. So,
we'll save that for a regular podcast.
Exactly. Emergency news. That's delivered to you. We're very angry. We're upset. Kevin Feige, exert your power over everything it seems like you have power over.
Fuck Sony.
Bob Iger, please get your shit together, CEO. You're a CEO of Disney. Come on, you should be able to flex a little bit here.
Tony Stark didn't die for this.
Tony Stark did not die for this.
He died for the exact opposite, but,
It's whatever. Thorin, thank you for complaining about this with me.
Oh, I was happy to. My pleasure.
Okay, so long.
So long, friend.
Thank you for listening to the Assist Podcast. If you like the show, go drop a 5-star rating. That really helps us keep the show going. If you want to stay updated with all of the podcast episodes, hit the subscribe button and also go follow our Twitter, which is @assist_podcast, and our Instagram, which is now the Assist Podcast. And you can write any emails, any suggestions you have to theassistpod@yahoo.com, and we'll see you next week.